Rwanda is among the top 10 most gender-equal countries according to the latest Global Gender Gap Index. The country also holds a global record of having the highest women representation in parliament, and that's quite remarkable. However, women may not be enjoying the same treatment in every aspect, and we are going to see why and how this is being dealt with in this episode of Doing Business in Rwanda. Welcome. My name is Stephen Muvunyi. Grace Umutoni is a young designer who owns a small fashion brand in Rubavu district, Western Rwanda. She is one of the thousands of women entrepreneurs who are involved in the fashion industry.
In Rwanda, there is no challenge that can face us because we are women. Yeah, there is no challenge as that, but there is advantages instead of disadvantages. So I think the challenge in my business is not, it doesn't come because I'm a female. No, it does come because it's business. There are a lot of challenges. So I think I'm so grateful to be in this country with many opportunities. We get so many opportunities to move forward. We have so many organizations that help us to increase our knowledge and our financial capacity.
Grace's belief that female entrepreneurs have the same opportunities as their male counterparts comes as no surprise given the fact that she runs a business in a country that's reputed for promoting gender equality. But on the other hand, Gloria Kamanzi, a fellow entrepreneur, holds a different opinion. She points out skepticism towards their ability to deliver as much as men can do, especially in procurement, as a big hindrance to women entrepreneurs.
There are cases whereby we meet with potential clients because we do have different categories of clients. So there's that tendency of not believing of what we offer and what we deliver. So one challenge I would really want to share that has been sort of a reality, maybe that is not much communicated, is in the area of going for tenders. When we talk of women in procurement, people may think women are doing well. Honestly, no. I've had a number of experiences whereby I went for tenders, I bidded, but at last you find that the companies are just looking at, of course, low prices, but they don't look at the quality. And they want, like, if they see it's a man who does something fast, they just go for that, and with the price the person is offering, they go for that, and we find ourselves excluded. And recently, by the way, there was a study that was launched on women in procurement, and what we got to know is that women are not really being considered much, because of what? Adapting on the capacity, adapting on what we can deliver.
Although this issue hasn't yet got much spotlight, it's so unnerving that it made her give up bidding.
To be very honest, with the last few years, I decided not to be involved to bid or to go for tenders. Even my accountant asked me that question. I said, no, that's out of question because we are wasting time. I better deal with the clients who know the work we do and believe in the quality we give and believe, in that uniqueness of what they're looking for. So you find that there's this thing of, I don't know if I can call it giving less value of what we offer. So it's a challenge.
Despite the fact that what has been done in terms of promoting gender equality in Rwanda is remarkable, women believe much more work remains, specifically in regards to building their capacity.
I think even in business, the government is doing a lot. We have a lot of policies and laws that have enabled women to be able to access banks, to access loans, and also grow their businesses, especially small and medium businesses and enterprises. So they're doing very well. But today we also know that about 11% of women in Rwanda are financially excluded. And we are talking here about women living in rural area, young women who perhaps don't have the right knowledge or information on how to write a good business proposal. And so it's important to understand that even though there's a lot that has been done, there is a lot that still needs to be done, especially making sure that the private sector, the microfinance institutions are really bridging the gap and ensuring that those that are marginalized and financially excluded are also part of the good development that we see here every day.
While there is no silver bullet to women's problems, financial inclusion has been identified as a key solution. Sorina Nyirahabimana, the Minister of Gender and Family Promotion, guides us through the initiatives that were designed to tackle this.
We passed the law on women's right to land. And second, the law on finance and property of Rwanda had requested that there has to be gender budgeting, where all institution that has to present its budget has to bring the annex showing how the budget that is going to be allocated to the institution is going to serve to men and women. And the third product, that is a strategy that was passed about women and youth access to finance, that brought also the facility, the Business Development Fund, BDF, that had the wing where there is, it can provide 75% of guarantee for the loans of women underprivileged, not more than 10 million, and the woman can find 10%, and the government of Rwanda through Mijeprof provide 15%. All this brought the women to the 2016, 4 years later, to have now actually 63% of women who are formally included, 24% who are in informal sector, informally included at least, and of course we have again 13% of excluded women. And when you talk about financial inclusion, one can talk about the formally 63, but also when you consider the importance of the women in the informal sector, the 24 also are to upgrade, but at least they can show off and their product at least at that informal level.
Under the National Strategy for Transformation, the government aims to support and empower youth and women to create businesses through entrepreneurship and access to finance. These efforts can only bear fruit if they are collective.
I think it's a collective effort. We cannot talk about each individual. Well, they have different roles to play. For example, the government really being able to ensure that the private sector is not just driven by business and money, but they are also there to support the communities that are there. And I also know that a lot of women's rights organizations have really been at the forefront of building the capacity of women, so that they understand how do you come up with business, how do you get the capital to start up your business, how do you grow your business. But for me, I would like to see a lot of the private sector really be engaged. We know a lot of them are after money, as I said, but sometimes they might not look at the different needs and challenges that women are facing. So it's important that women are consulted in terms of when they are designing their products, how are they consulted, how do they listen to women and what their needs are, and how do they ensure that they reach the most excluded and marginalized groups.
Gender equality can have a significant and positive impact on the economy, as evidenced by statistics. A McKinsey Global Institute report on the power of parity found that accelerating progress towards parity could boost African economies by the equivalent of 10% of their collective GDP by 2025.
While the story is not uniform across Africa, gender inequality remains very high. And for us, this is worrying, not because it's just the right thing to do, but because there is a missed economic opportunity. We believe that by addressing gender inequality, we could add 300 billion to Africa's economy. That's about 10% of the current economy. I think all countries need to step up. You know, even the most advanced country has a long way to go for gender parity. But what do countries need to do? We've basically identified 5 areas. One is human capital. And for me, that's about education and healthcare. The second is about creating economic opportunities. Too many women today work in the informal sector and are in vulnerable employment. The third for me is how do we leverage technology to deliver these services, but also to create economic opportunities. And then, as I mentioned earlier, it's about shaping attitudes. And it's not just about women, it's about men and women changing the conversation and changing the way society perceives women. And lastly, it's about laws and policies and regulations that support women and making sure that those laws and policies are enforced.
And that's all on today's episode of Doing Business in Rwanda. Be sure to send your feedback on our email, that's dbir@abn360.com, or tweet us at dbirwanda, or myself at Stephen Muvunyi. Thanks so much for watching.